Major funding for the Living Room Festival has been provided by the San Francisco Foundation, the James Irvine Foundation, the Wallace Alexander Gerbode Foundation, and the Columbia Foundation. The Corporation on Disabilities and Telecommunications presents Exploding Myths, the Emerging Culture of Disability.
Disability culture? Say what? Disability culture. But aren't disabled people just isolated victims of nature or circumstance? Yes and no. It is true, we are far too often isolated, locked away in the pits, closets, and institutions of enlightened societies everywhere. But there is a growing consciousness among us. That is not acceptable. For you see, there's always an underground. Notes get passed among survivors. And the notes we're passing these days, they say there's power in difference. Power. Pass the word. Culture. It's about passing the word. And disability culture is passing the word these days that there's a new definition of disability. And it includes power. Culture. New definitions, new inflections. No longer just poor cripple, also cripple. And yes, cripple. A body happening. But on a real good day, why not cripple a body happening? Dig it or not. Culture. It's about finding our history, naming and claiming our ancestors, our heroes. As invisibles, our history is hidden from us. Our ancestors, our heroes, are buried in the pages, unnamed, unrecognized. Disability culture is about naming. It's about recognizing. Naming and claiming our ancestors, our heroes, like Helen Keller. Oh, not the miracle worker version we're all so familiar with, not her. But Helen Keller, the social reformer, the activist, the woman who tried so desperately to use her celebrity to tell the truth of disability, that it has far more to do with poverty and oppression and the restriction of choices than it has to do with wilted muscles or milky eyes. And for her efforts to tell this truth, Helen Keller was demeaned. She was ridiculed, as revolutionaries often are. But Helen Keller was a survivor. And that's the first thing any culture needs. Survivors, people who live long enough so that some part of the truth makes it to the next generation. And so because Helen Keller was a survivor, she pulled back from telling that fuller truth of disability. She did what survivors often do. She wore the mask. She swallowed the rage so that there might be a next generation. And so Helen Keller, our ancestor, our hero, survivor, we honor you. Naming and claiming our history, our ancestors, like the thousands and thousands of mental and physical defectives singled out for special treatment by the Nazis, Disability culture is recognizing that we were the first victims of the Holocaust. We are the people the Nazis refined their methods of torture on. So we must raise these unnamed victims into our consciousness, into the consciousness of people everywhere, so that it never happens again. And just as Native Americans are insisting that the true name of discovery is genocide, so more and more of us are insisting that the true name of a right to die with dignity, without ever having an opportunity to live with dignity, is murder. The first syllable of genocide. Culture, finding that history, naming and claiming our ancestors. Like all those circus and carnival freaks, the first disability performance artists, those rowdy outcasts who learn to emphasize their otherness, turn it into work, a career, a life. Oh, it probably wasn't a very good life. In fact, it was probably a damn brutal life. But it was a life outside the institutions. Those institutions for the excessively different that have always been such a prominent part of the American economy. And so, yes, these freaks are our ancestors, and we honor them for the survivors they are. Naming and claiming our history, our ancestors, our heroes. Now, most of you probably know the name of James Meredith, are familiar with his story. James Meredith, African-American freedom fighter, who by insisting on his right to an education, helped to break down the barriers to people of color to higher education. But it was that insistence, by that insistence, he opened the doors to Ole Miss. But how many of you know the name Ed Roberts? Crippled freedom fighter, disabled man, who armed with self-esteem and a portable respirator, insisted that he had a right to an education, insisted that the doors to the University of California be open to disabled people. And by that insistence, he laid a significant brick onto the foundation of the independent living movement. The independent living movement. Independent living movement. The language of it. That revolution of identities and possibilities for people with disabilities. The independent living movement. Now, you may not have heard of it. See, it didn't make it into prime time. Norman Mailer did not rush out to capture its essence in 30,000 words. But it took root, and it grew, and it spread across this country, and it is traveling around the world, because there is always, always an underground, and notes will be passed among survivors. And the notes we're passing these days, it says, there's power in difference. Power. Pass the word. Culture. Disability culture. What is it about? It's pretty simple, you know. It's just, here's disability from the inside out. Culture. It's about passing the word. Now, maybe that word is the moan and wail of a blues. Or maybe it's the fierce rhythms and clicking heels and castanets of flamenco. Maybe it's outsider art. Passing the word. Now, maybe the word is authentic movement. That dance that flows from the true body notes of cripples. Or maybe it's the way pieces of cloth are stitched together to commemorate a life, to remember a name, Or maybe it's American Sign Language, that language that formed the foundation of a new identity for a people, deaf people. And it bloomed into ASL performance art and ASL mime, theater of the deaf, culture. Sometimes it happens over coffee or on a picket line. A poem gets said and then it gets passed along and then it's passed back, amended, embellished, and then you pass it along again. Language gets claimed. Ms., gay, crip. Guerrilla theater becomes theater with a soul. Teatro Campesino, the Dance Theater of Harlem, and of course, Rye Crips, Disabled Women's Theater Group. Radical, true, passing the word. Culture. Now, maybe you've been deprived. Maybe the only image you have of disability is that of victim. Maybe all you know of us is that we're Jerry's kids, those doom-drenched poster children hauled out once each year to wring your charitable pockets dry. But I promise you, you will also come to know us as Jerry's orphans, no longer the grateful recipients for tear-filled handouts. We are more and more proud freedom fighters taken to the streets, picket signs strapped to our wheelchairs. No longer the polite, patient tin cuppers waiting for your generous inclusion. More and more, we are proud freedom fighters taken to the stages, raising our speech-impaired voices in celebration of who we are. No longer just the invisible people with no definition beyond other. More and more, we are proud. We are freedom fighters, taking to the streets, taking to the stages, raising gnarled fists in celebration of who we are, in defiance of those narrow, bloodless images of our complex humanity shoved down the American consciousness. And these changes, oh, they will happen. Just as the independent living movement happened, just as the Rehabilitation Act 504 regulations for access happened, and just as, at long last, the Americans with Disabilities Act, the most comprehensive civil rights act ever written concerning the rights of people with disabilities, happened. Because there is always an underground. Notes will be passed among survivors. And the notes we're passing these days, oh, they say there's power in difference. Power, power, power. Pass the word. So, disability culture. What is it really about? It's just this, 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 this. Coming at you from the inside out.
Welcome to Exploding Myths, the emerging culture of disabilities. I'm Lee Williams, and I'm a member of the Northern California chapter of CDT, the Corporation on Disabilities and Telecommunications. We're artists, producers, performers, allies, disabled and not. And tonight we're gonna give you a taste of the future of disability images. So sit back, fasten your seatbelt, because I think you're gonna be in for quite a ride. And we'll begin where so many others began, the art of documentary.
How many times have I gone to BART and waited and seen my train is supposed to be going to San Francisco? I get on the train, I'm reading a newspaper, and I find I'm going to Fremont. I've lost my way because they've made a verbal announcement that they were going to Fremont but never flashed any news to me. There should be that kind of visual display clear to people who are hearing impaired in places like BART.
When I used to see handicapped people, I felt awkward and funny inside. I found myself feeling sorry for them, and like it's not, my tongue got tied. laughing at me. What a lesson I learned when the tables were turned, but I'm glad 'cause I finally see, yes, I'm doing all right for a cripple, and I'm a tax-paying citizen too. At times it gets rough, but I'm pretty tough, and somehow I keep making it through. So don't give me your grief or your pity. It's time to get out of my way. Well, it's been a trip, but a trip can be hip, and I'm enjoying myself today. And so, the next time you see a cripple, don't get all teary and frown. It's just because a person can't get up, there's no reason to put them down.
You may be called to take America to task so that the president, the administration, any public transportation institution will begin to know that access to buses, to trains, to everything else that moves is a right and a privilege that you must have and that you will have. You may be called to set what's wrong right by letting people know that you are not to be pitied, you are not to be put down, you are not to be felt sorry for. What you are a people who stands up for its rights, and you're not going to quit until you get all your rights.
Participating in this Park City Handicap Ski Program for 2 years now, and it's been really good for us. So many times you get so involved with what your children can't do that sometimes you forget to look for the things that they can do. This has been wonderful for us because we can do it as a family now. It's given David a lot of confidence that he didn't have before, and it's something that he can go to school and tell his friends that he went skiing yesterday, just like the rest of them.
Children with disabilities have the same goals and enjoy the same activities as their friends. There are several programs available that have specialized recreational equipment or can adapt equipment for children and adults with disabilities. Recreation and leisure make life more rewarding, challenging, and healthy. Parents should not be afraid to let their children try new activities and let them fall down once in a while.
We have a lot to share.
Nearly any sport can be adapted to allow all to participate. The recreational activities you have seen in this program are just some of the options open to people with disabilities. Don't be afraid to let your children pursue their interests and dreams and open up their world to a lifetime of positive, rewarding, and shared experiences.
wheelchair bound? I don't think so. Axis Dance Troupe defies such narrow definitions with their collaborative choreography. We're going to see some more of their work now, along with the Exposed to Gravity project. As they say, in the air, in a chair, or on the ground. The theater. What has happened to the theater? Rock Crips, that's what. Guerrilla theater. Yes, and Theater Unlimited. Both these groups in our theater section are out there making art of our lives.
Court is in session. We are gathered here to hold these truths to be self-evident, that all people are created equal and are entitled to equal justice under the law. Present your evidence.
Well, you've seen my doctor's records,
Yes.
And they're quite extensive. In a nutshell, I've been under treatment for severe environmental illness for the past several years.
Environmental illness is a controversial diagnosis. Proceed with your testimony.
All right. Sometimes I wake up in the morning so sick from yesterday's onslaught of perfume, cigarette smoke, car smoke.
Yes, I understand.
I get so sick that I can't even open my eyes, let alone roll over. I use oxygen to give myself something clean to breathe, to come as close as I can to functioning as a human being. Without it, I'm a prisoner in my own home.
Well, although your personal testimony is quite compelling, I must find you guilty of having a controversial disability. I further find you guilty of using a controversial treatment.
I didn't choose this disability. This treatment works.
We have rules, and we must obey them. Oxygen is an experimental treatment. Even if it works, Medi-Cal does not pay for experimental treatments. Case dismissed. And now for a word from our sponsor.
Have you ever wished you could avoid having to see disabled people everywhere you go? Does the sight of someone else's pain, or even the reality of their lives, get you down? Well, since so many people seem to feel this way, we've developed a brand new product through years of research, funded by your tax dollars. This all-new concept of positive imaging through blinders. This revolutionary new product not only helps avoid unwanted eye contact, it also has the extra advantage of a third panel, which effectively blocks from view crutches, canes, walkers, wheelchairs, white canes, and best of all, anyone not at your own eye level. So for just $249.99, you too can enjoy this world by using our blinders. Now, all you have to do is place an order. Call 1-800-I'm a jerk. So what are you waiting for? Call now before you end up like the people you don't want to see. That's right. Call 1-800-I'm a jerk.
During World War II, the mentally retarded were drafted right out of the institutions. 100,000 men were drafted into the army. The military anticipated that only 8% would effectively serve. In fact, 70 to 80% served their country. Many of them didn't return home at all. But those that did, those that came home and marched down Market Street, they were placed back in the institutions from which they came. Waiting for another war, another chance to be wanted, another chance to be free. Freedom. That's what this play is about. Freedom.
All right, let's go. Everybody off the bus right now. Let's go. Moving. Bring on the lighter. Let's go. Light up. Let's go. All right, you guys. You have any idea where you are?
Fort Dix, sir.
Fort Dix.
No, 4 minutes.
Fort Dix. This is a United States Army training base. My name is Sergeant Clear. You dummies will be mine for the next 8 weeks. Is that clear?
Yes, sir. Clear.
What? I can't hear you.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Let's get one thing very straight, gentlemen. When I say, can you hear me, I want to be able to hear you.
Yes, sir.
Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Yes, sir.
Yes, what?
Yes, sir.
Let's try it again, ladies. All together now, all right? Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes, sir.
Good. Good. All right. What is your name, Sonny?
Sonny. Mrs. Smith.
Mr. Smith. What's your first name, Smith?
Smith.
What is it?
Mrs. Smith.
Mr. Smith.
Yeah, Mrs. Smith.
Does Mr. Smith have a first name?
No, he don't. Just Mrs. Smith.
Oh.
Oh.
We got a little wise ass here, huh?
No, we don't.
Are you being a wise ass?
No, wait. But let him Wood.
You what?
Wood.
Willard.
Mrs. Smith.
Willard Smith. Where are you from, Smith?
Georgia.
Georgia, huh?
Well, out there.
Shut up! What's your name?
Artie.
Artie what?
Stanberry. Artie Moore. Keep going on.
You answer for him?
Yeah.
What's the matter? He can't answer for himself?
No.
You got a problem, Sonny? You can't answer for yourself? You let this little piece of shit answer for you?
No way.
Huh?
No.
All right, what's your name?
Artie.
Artie what?
Stephen.
Where are you from, Stephen?
Stephen.
Texas. Texas. Steers and queers come from Texas. Which one are you?
Texas.
You're Texas. Good. What's your name, Sonny?
Ulysses Smith.
I didn't know me
Another
had
Smith, huh?
Mrs. Smith here.
Shut up over there! You related to this bozo over here?
No, sir.
Where are you from?
San Francisco.
San Francisco, huh?
That's right.
Town of queers. Are you one of them?
No, sir.
Good. We don't want any queers in this man's army. What's your name, son?
Michael Rice, sir.
Michael Rice. Where are you from, Rice?
Dallas, sir.
Dallas, huh? Another Texan. Well, I just love Texans. All right, listen up, you guys. For the next 8 weeks, I'm going to be your mother, your father, your sister, your brother, your wife, your husband, your lover. You got that?
Yes, sir.
No.
Clear.
All right, stand on this line here, Sonny. Get on the line here. Stand on the line. Right here. Right there. You're gonna give me some trouble, aren't you? Huh? Ah. Well, there's always one in every outfit. You gonna give me trouble?
No.
Huh?
No.
I'll see that you don't. All right, listen up, you meatballs. Let's get you out of these civvy clothes and get you into some military fatigues, all right? Let's see if you can tell your right from your left.
Not bad.
Did anybody hear a command?
No, sir.
Did I give a command?
No.
Then what the hell are you idiots doing facing the right? You think this is funny, don't you, Willard? Well, let me tell you something here, Willard. I'm going to be watching your ass. For the next 8 weeks, you got me?
Got you.
All right. Let's get one thing straight, meatballs. When I give an order, then you follow through. You got it?
Yes, sir.
I can't hear you, ladies.
Yes, sir.
I still can't hear you.
Yes, sir.
All right, good. Now let's see if we can tell our right from our left. Left face. I said left face. Don't you idiots know the right from your left?
Good. Not bad.
I'm not here to be humiliated or treated like dirt. No, I'm here to do a job. And if that means turning some heads, so be it. But I can't do it alone. That's why we need to unite and work as one. But we cannot do it alone. We need help. What? We need help getting out of here and showing them that we are not what they think we are.
Video art, where there are no boundaries, except the things that you haven't tried yet. Here are 2 examples: individual work, as well as collaborative efforts, proving that you can do it alone, or you can do it with a party.
When his hand rested on my belly, a wave of fear and self-doubt pushed up from beneath his touch. Would he recoil at the sharp curve of my spine? Would he notice the smooth of my skin, my delicate fingers, how they can trace burning pictures on his chest? Oh, is this just a nice thing he could do for his crippled friend? But then I felt his hand resting on my belly, eyes so small. His two hands could wrap completely around me. He trembled with fears of his own. And was that pleasure? Excitement? Darkness hid his smile, but I could feel it, as I felt in me fear pushing back, my body pushing forward, when his hand spread searching across my belly.
I know, and I will have girlfriends, boyfriends, whatever.
I know it's nice to have girlfriends, boyfriends, whatever.
But I think never them I have with myself, and I need to support them and the ones I have with others.
But I think the relationship I have with myself is at least as important as the ones I have with others.
I'm always around when I need me.
I'm always around when I need me.
I'm a great day.
I'm a great date.
And when I bring myself home and I get back to someone, I don't feel taking advantage of.
And when I bring myself home and take advantage of myself, I don't feel taken advantage of.
I never met them.
Of course, I never meant this relationship to be monogamous. That's open to negotiation.
I asked. You knew. We wanted. We did.
As you can see, guerrilla theater can be poetry. Here now are two examples of poetry in motion. Performance art, performed by the group Hephaestus, and then by the poet Cheryl Marie Wade.
I remember walking, although it seems like floating now. I remember walking, although it seems like floating now, with these legs like wings folded, with these legs like wings folded. In 1967, I hitchhiked across the country. I was AWOL from the Navy and flight from the killing machine. When I got to San Francisco, I was a skinhead on Haight Street in the summer of love. I wasn't a sailor, I wasn't a hippie, I was stretched out between everything and nothing. So I finally couldn't hold myself in, and I jumped through a window, smashing the glass. Oh, I remember flying. Although it seems like floating now, I remember flying. Although it seems like floating now, with these legs like wings folded, with these legs like wings folded. One second I was running, next second I was flying, next second I was lying on the ground, so still, trying to die, 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 with every breath, while three black children looked at me through a wrought iron fence, till finally, contained by my last breath, I felt like a cold stone in dark space. I would not remain this way forever. So I crawled back into my body, feet first, to possess myself. Cool fire in moist carbon burning. Cool fire in moist carbon burning. Oh, I remember sitting, although it seems like floating now. I remember sitting, although it seems like floating now, with these legs like wings folded, with these legs like wings folded. Let me move before they see me. Children's laughter feels like a dangerous wind. I'll just hide behind this window curtain. No one's seen me lately, just the wind. I remember standing, although it seems like floating now. I remember standing, although it seems like floating now, with these legs like wings folded, with these legs like wings folded. I woke up in a dream I was in a circular white room, and in the center was a hole, and in the center of it was a rose bush growing. Next to it was an easel, and on it a painting full of wild, vivid colors. I was sitting in front of it, bent over in a torn and dirty cloak. But suddenly, out of nowhere, a witch burst into the room. I was terrified. Her thumbs pressed into my eyes. The pain was so intense. My screams were silent. They poured out of me like color onto the painting, and my tears ran down and watered the roses. Suddenly, I realized I was leaning into her thumbs. Gingerly, I pulled back, sure of some horrible retribution. The old woman just asked, "Don't you want to paint with your pain anymore?" Suddenly I realized if I stood up, I'd be taller than she. Hesitating, terrified, I finally rose up. Looking down into her eyes, her face changed, and my sweet grandmother as she backed out of the room. Oh, I remember walking. I remember flying. I remember sitting. I remember standing up again, even if only within myself. Well, it all seems like floating now with these legs like wings folded. With these legs like wings folded. You see, this is my body now. 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 Join in. This is my body now. 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 This is my body now.
She's small for her age, moon-faced, almost no breast development. Notice the classic deformities of the PIPs, the ulnar deviation. Are her bowels regular? Are they? Dear, have you had a bowel movement yet? What? She's small for her age, scoliosed, sparse pubic growth. Notice the classic deformities of the MIPs, the radial deviation. Has she started menses yet? Has she? Dear, have you started your period yet? What? She's small for her age, round-shouldered, rise and shine. Time for Agorol, aspirin, Benadryl, cortisone, Darvon, Darvocet, Demerol. What? She's small for her age, pigeon-toed. She's small for her age, knock-knee, rise and shine. Time for bed rest, exercise, hot packs, ice baths, bed rest, rise and shine. Time for she's small for her age, deformity. Stop. She's small for her age. No, she's small for her age, deformity. Clean cat, said Ray, scoop your shit, dear blood, just a little pinprick to the bone marrow, to the eardrum, cut off the nodule, realign the hip bone, cut, scrape, saw, rebuild the deformity, small for age, small for age. No! I am not one of the physically challenged. I'm a sock in the eye with gnarled fist. I'm a French kiss with cleft tongue. I'm orthopedic shoes sewn on a last of your fears. I am not one of the differently abled. I'm an epitaph for 1,000,000 imperfect babies left untreated. I'm an icon carved from bones in a mass grave at Tiergarten, Germany. I'm withered legs hidden with a blanket. I am not one of the able disabled. I'm a black panther with green eyes and scars like a picket fence. I'm pink lace panties teasing a stub of milk white thigh. And I'm the evil eye. I'm the first cell divided. I'm mud that talks. I'm Eve. I'm Kali. I'm the mountain that never moves. I've been here forever. I'll be here forever. I'm the gimp. I'm the cripple. I'm the crazy lady. I'm the woman with juice.
That's a glimpse of what's happening out there. And we're just a small group. If you don't set limits, you don't get limitations. Where's it heading? I think our president, Pamela Walker, tells it like it is when she received her award for working with CDT from KRON TV, San Francisco.
Here is your award, Pamela. And here is an instrument that you know very well.
I know it well. Thank you. I think this is cheating, to get an award for something I really enjoy doing. But I think the job I'm doing is very important because disabled people fight stereotyping. And even though we now have laws that guarantee our civil rights, finally, as of 1990, that doesn't mean anything if people do not have attitudes that are going to let us become part of society. And I believe that the images we see on television and in the movies is where those attitudes start. And that's a very effective tool, as many of the minority populations have found, for changing attitudes. And so the Corporation on Disabilities and Telecommunications, which I've been active in getting going in this area, really believes in trying to put out more positive and realistic image of disability. And so we're in the middle of a coup. We are slowly taking over the media that is representing us, and it's about time. And it's very exciting to be part of that, and very important work. And this award means a lot because it really validates all that work. Thank you.